say it like this. Fans are like your parents, right? They never want to see the kids grow, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I want you to stay, my baby. Please don't get older. And that's what artists are to the supporters and fans, right? They never want to see them go outside the box or grow or a little bit commercial, right? Because it just ruin, that relationship that they have. And I believe that our fans, right? Because it probably was a mix of the audiences together. Like on one hand, 50 is grimy, right? Like he got the streets on lock, but then he went super commercial, right? And sometimes, the streets, they kind of resent that commercialness, you know what I'm saying, of an artist going that big because they just want that foundational music. And they probably was scared that once we signed the G Unit that we was probably going to become this commercial group, but it couldn't have been further from the truth.
Sometimes the smartest move in hip-hop is the one that makes your fans the angriest. For years, people looked at Mobb Deep joining 50 Cent and G Unit like it was some kind of betrayal. A lot of fans couldn't understand why one of the most respected street rap groups of all time would link up with one of the biggest commercial forces in hip-hop. But according to Havoc from Mobb Deep, the reality had a lot more to do with business, money, and survival than most people realize. In this interview, Havoc breaks down exactly where Mobb Deep was financially when 50 Cent made that call. He explains why becoming free agents changed everything for Mobb Deep. He talks about record sales that still weren't good enough for the label they were at. He reveals what 50 Cent did behind the scenes to help push the group as well. And he even addresses whether fans put Mobb Deep in a box that may have limited their growth as a business. Now, I'm about to let y'all hear this for yourselves. But before I do, I just need y'all to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
I wanted to know, too, when you signed with 50, when y'all did the deal with 50,
yeah.
Break that down and why y'all decided to sign that deal, and where were y'all at that point as far as Mobb Deep to go?
I mean, if you get offered some Ferraris, you not gonna sign a deal?
Absolutely.
But 50 called me. We was free agents at that point. I think we had been on Jive.
Yep.
We sold 150,000 records the first week. That wasn't good enough for Jive. Today, I mean, that's like probably platinum or something like that. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? But it was
happy with 30,000 now.
Exactly. So I guess we was ahead of our time, or not, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But 50 called me. I had already worked with 50 like maybe a year before that. Before he was bubbling on the mixtapes.
Yep, I remember.
And he was one of my favorite artists. You know what I'm saying? We did Bump That and Clap Those Things or whatever. And that was supposed to be for my solo album. Loud Folded, never came out. And then the next thing you know, a year later, somebody named 50 Cent is just going, bubbling, right? So we kept that relationship going. Mm-hmm. And by the time we became free agents, he gave me a call, said, I want to sign y'all. He swept us up into the G Unit umbrella, went on tour, and the rest was history.
How come you never signed more artists? Because you were the producer, you were the artist.
Right.
How come you did? Because you could have, I'm sure, signed 50 early on. Besides Big Noy, who did y'all?
True. You know what it is? I guess I haven't ever found an artist that I truly like, I just don't want to sign somebody just to sign somebody. Like, I guess my bar is high. You know, I really want to sign that artist. Now, there's an artist that I did want to sign that she wasn't signed at the time. It was Jasmine Sullivan. She just came in to write, because back then I was like getting people to throw reference vocals, and I was working with Stevie J, and he knew her and got her to the studio, and I was like, God damn! I was like, yo, she's nice, you know what I mean? But she's one of those artists that is going to get a major record deal and get signed. You got to come with the business if you want to sign a Jasmine Sullivan.
Correct.
But for instance, I don't run across artists like that all the time. And those are the artists that I really want to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they few and far between.
So you didn't sign her only because the deal situation wasn't going to be what you thought it should be? Or how did that not move forward?
I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lie. But, female artists is like high maintenance, you know what I'm saying? It come with a lot, you know what I'm saying? Not to, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, because you got glam and branding, and they get it. And I will say, although Jasmine Sullivan,
wear t-shirt and jeans, that's it.
No, our t-shirt and jeans is a little different. But Jasmine Sullivan is one of the best singers, period, in the game, right? But I feel like it took people so long. It was hotels for me when people even started recognizing her the way that they should have. And she had been working for so long before that. So I'm sure a lot of money was poured into that.
Absolutely.
So I understand what you're saying, but y'all didn't even have a conversation and an attempt to see what she would say to your offer?
I had the conversation in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish that I, because I was just, I was in my own way. You know what I mean? But the artist in me wanted her to shine. You know what I mean? And not even, try to get in her way. But, that's what it is. Like, I never come across artists of that caliber. It's really hard, right? Like, so that's why.
I want to go back to the 50 Cent signing y'all conversation. I know when you guys signed with 50 and dropped music, a lot of the fans weren't happy about that.
Yeah, because you know why? I always say it like this. Fans are like your parents, right? They never want to see the kids grow, right? Oh, I want you to stay, my baby. Please don't get older. And that's what artists are to the supporters and fans, right? They never want to see them go outside the box or grow or a little bit commercial, right? Because it just ruin, that relationship that they have. And I believe that our fans, right? Because it probably was a mix of the audiences together. Like, on one hand, 50 is grimy, right? Like, he got the streets on lock, but then he went super commercial, right? And sometimes, the streets, they kind of resent that commercialness, you know what I'm saying, of an artist going that big, because they just want that foundational music. And they probably was scared that once we signed the G Unit that we was probably going to become this commercial group, but it couldn't have been further from the truth.
Because the point of y'all signing that deal was you wanted that expansion of the brand and the business. Do you feel like at that point y'all make it, because when you released from the contract, there was no more business with 50 after, right?
No.
And was that because of the way that the fans reacted, or?
No. It wasn't because of that. I think it was a lot of different factors surrounding that whole G Unit Interscope thing. I think 50 was getting pushback at Interscope regardless of anything, because he was just so, strong-minded. You know what I mean? And at that time, it's like, okay, we sold this amount of records. All right, go ahead, do what y'all need to do. Because 50 was fighting really hard to push us, and he was getting a lot of pushback. Like, MTV wasn't having it. You know what I mean? They was like, play what? Mobb Deep with, you know what I'm saying? And he would just sneak us on TRL with him. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you know what I mean? They didn't want us there.
Why not?
Because we don't fit into
the genre of music y'all were in?
Yeah, we from the streets, right. Like, you know what I'm saying? They like, they gatekeeping a little bit up there. They like, nah, we good. You know what I'm saying? Give us somebody else.
Do you feel like, because I asked the question to get here, do you feel like because of the box, I guess, that the fans kind of put you guys in, it hurt Mobb Deep as a business, looking back then to where things are now?
Man, it's different ways to look at that. I would say no, right? Because staying true to your fan base is cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't really want to do nothing outside of that. Like, I'm not trying to make no pop records with, like, Christina Aguilera and all of that stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? Because it's not who I am. Now the music just becomes fake. You understand? But if I was of that, then sure, we'll make it. Like, certain artists was able to do that, but that wasn't Mobb Deep. Now, and if we was going to go that direction, we should have started that early on. But that wasn't Mobb Deep. We started grassroots from the bottom, like,
The move that made some Mobb Deep fans angry may have been the smartest business decision they ever made. That's really what I took away from Havoc's comments. A lot of fans look at situations like Mobb Deep joining 50 Cent and immediately think about loyalty or street politics. But when you're running a brand and feeding families, the conversation changes. Sometimes the move that looks controversial from the outside makes perfect sense behind the scenes. One of the biggest lessons in entertainment is that distribution and marketing power often matter just as much as your talent. That's why so many successful artists eventually focus on partnerships, ownership, and expanding their audience instead of just staying comfortable. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think Mobb Deep made the right business call by signing with 50 Cent and G Unit when they became free agents? And looking back today, do you think 50 Cent helped expand Mobb Deep's brand more than fans give him credit for? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.